fantastic over Nongshim in this game number 1. But I think it was more interesting, this game, than I was expecting it to be.
He did lose.
Oh, wait, no, they lost game 2.
Game
so
2.
never mind. So he's not 100% win rate. But it's a definable KDA.
Can be in series, depending on how this one goes. Because after that one, I really do think that Nongshim saw a glimpse, relaxed for a second, and that's when T1 got them. Ended up being a T1 victory here with that Otacon call. First one, Nongshim answered well. Second one, they were not ready. As we
you can see,
I think, you know, some of the mid-game calls, particularly towards that top side of the map, before T1 felt a little bit off, but
you can see that it wasn't a lot of celebration in the coach's booth, which I think does make some sense.
Yeah.
Still, Nongshim, heads can still be held high, but I think that they had some real moments to make some stuff happen in that game. It was a difficult composition to pilot, but I did see it having some windows. They just weren't able to get there, and the tempo was just set too high here by T1. And after what was a really good early game plan from Nongshim, the rest of their game plans and the adaptation wasn't at that same level. And of course, T1 and their ability to turn on a dime macro-wise is so impressive.
Well, you see there as well, the gold is basically even, and Nongshim is sitting at soul point at 24 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Otacon is taken, and the game is done.
Yep.
That's just the end of it. You can't afford to give this up. T1, they are very aware of that. Ends up getting him a good win here in the first game between these two teams, Atlas.
But we're not going to be seeing any of these champions again, so looking forward to seeing what is going to be prepared by both teams as we head towards game number 2. But before that, going to be the space after this break.
하이 계속 안 보여.
하이디 나 텔 3초
여기
천천히 와줘 천천히 와줘
바이 우선.
바이
이제
딜 못해 아래 후웨이 조심
한 번 올게.
후웨이 볼게 후웨이 높이 위에도 봐주면 좋아
안 좋아. 끝내면 돼, 형들.
못해 풀 잘못 끝나 이거 끝나겠다 이거
이 싸움 끝나. 끝내자. 조심. 오로라 조심.
호라 노공이지
노공이야. 노공.
풀은?
쳐 있지만 않으면
풀이
되지.
있어 오케이 아 바로 볼 수 있냐
W 조심하고.
나 투자 있어
야, 위로 갈게.
W 파파파파파팜
나이스.
다행이다
나이스.
잘했어 잘 안 됐네
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the space for the final time here in Week 2. Digon alongside Wolf and Wadid as T1 take down Nongshim Red Force in game number 1. Wolf, that one slow at the start after a first couple of kills, but then some decisive macro here by T1.
Yeah, I mean, I think the theme of this first game is definitely T1 really out-macroing Nongshim Red Force. Nongshim have some new players in their lineup, right? And they're still figuring out that synergy and stuff like that, but there are some veterans here, and I feel like the calls around some of these objectives were really slow by Nongshim. And when you're running into a Caitlyn, you're always going to be a little bit behind the 8-ball on macro. The Jace side lane with the hull breaker as well is a big problem for them, and they just couldn't actually patch the holes on the map.
At the beginning of the game, I think they gave up the turret just for free, and then end of the series, I think they kind of gave up Atakan for free as well. I think that outcome came from their macro play, as you mentioned, and also I think the details that T1 had was just great.
The Elise pick coming out here for Keria. Let's dive into the early parts of the game here with the turret plates and how it all played out early on.
I mean, I think Smash could just reset here, but Oner kind of gave an idea that he could just push one more wave, and I think that kind of managed well in a really good way, because after this wave you can speed up really fast, and you can show a Smash pushing out this cannon wave once again while Azure was basing. I think it was really bad idea to lay hands to actually freeze this wave, and also not hard pushing with Jiu right there. And then actually result of that, they had like huge tempo on them on the bot lane, so they could actually manage to push out the turret while Azure was just pushing slowly on the top lane, and I think it was really crucial. And after that, T1 kind of snowballed early game really easily by them getting on the bot turret.
And of course, this is first turret, which is going to guarantee feats of strength over to T1. So there's just multifaceted reasons why all the decisions made here favor T1 massively. They utilize the Caitlyn pick incredibly well, something T1 has been known for. And you could see, I mentioned it when Smash was playing in his last series, but he's a really good Caitlyn player as well. He and Guma both share that trait. And, you know, in situations like this, when he's set up for success, he does not drop the ball. And just overall clean play from the rookie again.
I love replays like this because it shows how it's a cascading effect from a decision and the support, and like you highlighted earlier, Smash thought about recalling, was given the idea to continue to push, and how it resulted into that first feed of the first tower. Now let's take a look at some of the action that we had here in highlight number 2, where at 25 minutes, this is some not so great macro and maybe some decision making from the opposite AD carry Jiwoo.
Here is the same for the Jiu as well. Like, he was thinking about the reset here, but he thought about the pushing bot wave as well. But I think it was really bad choice because Atakan Atakan spawned on the top side, and your AD carry is you're pushing on the bot side. That doesn't make sense at all.
If he has teleport, which sometimes you take as Ezreal, then you can kind of mess around with this and TP into the fight. He doesn't even try to true shot for the steal or anything like that either. So he backs here after canceling his back, so he clears a wave, doesn't impact the fight at all, doesn't get the turret that's standing down there either. And you can see there's definitely, I mean, I don't know what the comms are in this moment, but my expectation would be there's either some arguing or disagreeing about what's happening here, because you could see Ju wanted to do something else, then decides to back anyways, too late for the fight. And those are the kind of calls that need to be much cleaner for Nongshim, because against a good macro team like T1, you drop the ball here, you're going to lose the game over it.
By the way, you could easily fix this problem. If you really wanted to clear out that bot wave, you're Israel. You could just use your ulti to fix that wave and then get the vision sight of the Atakan, because of the Nasher, it had really narrowed path to the Atakan as well. So I think it was really important to get the vision control. Otherwise, it's really hard to walk in to the Atakan pit because of the Caitlyn traps, and also you are playing as Elise.
Yeah, and up to this point, there were no catastrophic mistakes. There was no very clear lead. But now with that mistake, Atakan buff on the side of T1, Nongshim had to face check into Baron.
Once again, you could see the traps and also the vision control by T1. I mean, they even had the Atakan, but on top of that, look at the engage from the Keria. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, really nice reaction here from Gio, but it's just too little too late. Obviously, that engage is what splits this fight in half, so Lehen's engage means nothing. He's cut off as well, and that's just it. I mean, that's the end of the fight right there off of a great flash play from Keria. And that's Baron. You know, there's just no entrance in. King and super low. Faker willing to sacrifice himself basically here to guarantee there's no way the Aurora is a team fight changer. And then also, weird here that we see the channel from Gideon towards a already dead Victor. It was withdrawing, to be fair, instead of blocking that. But I guess, again, just a little bit chaotic here on the calls for Nongshim.
Yep, that's just a difficult one there for Nongshim. And they're going to look back on this one being, man, we were in it. We had the opportunity to get something there. Weren't quite able to. So T1 up 1-0 now on Nongshim Red Force, looking to close it on out and possibly make it a 2-0 week. Will they be able to do it? Let's send it back on over to the casters for game number 2.
Yep, looking to make it a 2-0 week and a 2-0 game here if they are able to take the victory here on the red side for T1. So Nongshim will be able to move over as... Oh, so we got a Canadian fan in the audience here at LOL Park today. So welcome, welcome. G-Sun providing a little bit of translation there.
It's going to be fun as MSI this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Canada.
I've never been to Canada. I'd really like to go. Should talk to someone, see whether I can go to MSI.
I think you'll be fine, Max.
Hey, don't count your chickens, mate. You don't count your chickens. That's why T1 fans shouldn't be counting their chickens either. Just because they beat Nongshim one time doesn't mean this series is over as we are diving into the draft for game number 2. And Nongshim do have the blue shorts that can help out. We've seen blue side be that little bit more easy to navigate, especially here in the draft.
I always wonder what leads you to, you know, wanting to count your chicken so obsessively.
Well, I mean, sometimes you lose a chicken and then you go find your chickens, and like you really want to have eggs in the morning, right?
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what if you lose a chicken? Then you're going to have one less egg. And what if you've got a big family and you draw short straws all the time? Then you're never going to have any eggs, man. It's a disaster.
Okay, we can work out, like, what do you call it? Where you give out the loot cycle. Everyone gets an egg every now and then, you know?
Oh, no, but like...
Pity timer for eggs.
In my family, no one's patient enough for that. It's just go and get an egg.
Knowing you, I definitely believe that. As Poppy, Catalyst already taken off the board. Skarner, absolute no-brainer. Champion is quite dumb. Cassante most likely also going to hit the table when it comes to the bans, as he is still kind of crazy.
Yep.
Rumble probably going to be left open by Nongshim here to try and pick it early. Maybe they do a little... Okay, yeah. Well, that would,
I think that is the ban you have to commit to, because it was Ambessa and Yone that they also banned. I think you can leave those, just get rid of Cassante, and you're kind of okay with how things are going. You take one of either the Yone or the Ambessa, and then you go from there.
Maybe you handshake just Ambessa into Cassante, depending on what matchup you prefer. We saw DK do that.
Yep, true.
If you're happy to go
blue side Cassante ban actually wouldn't be that bad, but instead they go for the Azir.
Does look like the trade then, right? So what does Kingen want to play? Is it Ambessa or is it Cassante? I'm gonna guess Cassante. I think that champion is just kind of crazy, and Ambessa does feel a bit more both playstyle and team reliant. And it's gonna be the Leona also taken off the board. The Leona ban actually quite interesting. Means that
it sort of deals with Lehen's pretty early on, right? Because the Nautilus is already taken away, so they're sort of his two most pivotal champions.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Maybe Rakan Prio as well?
Yeah. This is interesting.
Like, do they want to force out a Jax pick?
Do you... So this works really well with Ambessa and with the Yone that are still up and available. They could theoretically play both in this draft, and then Jiwoo can just go into his bag of tricks, right? This guy plays all sorts of champions. And Cassante going to be locked in. No-brainer there. Doran has been fantastic on this champion.
So then Kingen is most likely going to play Jax. Like maybe Jax Yone, and then hope they don't ban Ziggs.
I mean, the Ambessa Cassante matchup isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's also fine.
So, speaking of which, that is going to be looked at here. Where it's going is an interesting question, because it's going to be locked in. More likely than not, the Ambessa is going into the mid lane. We did see a time where Cassante was a mid lane champion as well, but
it happened.
I don't know whether it's going to be as popular. Last time we saw Ambessa was actually Fisher playing it, and it was a catastrophe. The debut of Ambessa in competitive play was Kesper Cup by Maple, and he won, and it was really good. So you never know what's going to happen. That's a few patches ago as well, as Fisher is considering an Akali here, which would allow for some permafrost synergy, which we're totally into. Akali Jax? Is that the answer?
Kind of feels that way, right? Also allows you to sideline pretty consistently.
Every time I see King and Hover Gangplank, I get butterflies in my stomach.
There's a lot of good options here. It really just depends on what Kingen feels comfortable with. This does make Smash's life a lot more unfortunate. That is
wow.
It's not nearly as.
It's like going through all of like the amazing, crazy ice cream flavors and then being like, nah, vanilla. You know, and it's just it'll probably get the job done. And Sejuani Renekton can work, but it doesn't really fill me with joy.
Well, it's even like, I think really good vanilla gets kind of a bad rep. You know,
That's
when you get,
true.
If you go to a really good ice cream place and you get vanilla, it's generally exceptional. I don't even feel that way about the Renekton though, as we have Oner on Lilia. I think Oner had an exceptional game number 1 on the Zinzao.
He did.
Performance on the champion, I think, has always been just insanely consistent, to the point where teams have started preparing counter picks. The last year spring Kazakh's counter pick comes to mind, just because of how threatening he has been. I don't like Oner as much on AP picks. It's not even a mastery thing, it's just how T1 looks, you know. T1, I think, relies on him so much for the space he creates and the power he has when he decides to go in. Not going to have access to that this time around, but it is a really strong pick at the moment. We've seen Lucid have POM-worthy performances of it, and it's also annoying to play into a Sejuani because you just get outpaced pretty aggressively, and it's hard to, outside of, you know, if you have backup and a combo to 100 to 0, actually locking her down consistently is just kind of a nightmare.
Yep, and we've sparked a little bit of a debate in the chat about the vanilla ice cream call. Nothing against it. In fact, Renekton, great champion. There just could have been more interesting things.
There could have been more flavor.
Yeah, could have just been a bit more off the wall. That's all we're saying. So
what is
it's
your
okay.
favorite? What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Coffee.
That actually tracks, yeah.
Yeah, like, or like a good tiramisu, but I don't know.
Tiramisu ice cream?
Yeah, tiramisu ice cream is
never had.
Absolutely.
But isn't that just coffee with extra steps?
Exactly. It's coffee and alcohol, basically. Smash thinking about what he wants to lock in. We've got the Ashe Varus handshake, as well as the Alistar and the Renata. Alistar being probably the next rung on Lehenz's list of champions that are good, and then the Renata being Keria's, you know, the champion that you just really don't want to see Keria on if you are the opposition and you want to win. Smash thinking about Jinx, though. This is certainly a great pick for him. He has found so much success in his career on this champion, and that will be locked in. Provides them a fair bit of range. Not a whole lot of peel with this composition.
I was about to say, they're definitely going to go in further. Do you think you want to lane swap here if you are Nongshim, because the early laning phase is not fun because you get outraged so aggressively? And there's also not a lot of engage support, but Rel is still open. So there's also no Alistar. That I am not. So they're going to lock Xayah Rakan, right? And then it's also take away the Rakan from Keria. A lot of the counters are taken away. I don't like it. Get me first and foremost, but I can see the thought process because Keria was going to play Rakan. You can't play Leona, you can't play Poppy. You have to blind something. Like, I guess you could blind Maokai. Is it Blitzcrank? I've seen that Lance face before.
God, yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Don't blind Blitzcrank. Okay, this is fine. This is
no, it's not fine.
Why would you not lock the Rakan?
There's nothing fine about what Nongshim just did. First, they hard countered themselves. Jiwa just locks in the champion that you pick Jinx into. And then they don't even do the thing that you're supposed to pick it for. You could play Rel with anyone. Misfortune would have been A-okay.
Well, Atlas, I was kind of upset about the fact that you didn't ask me what my favorite flavor of ice cream was, but now I'm upset about this.
Oh, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Please take me away from talking about this.
Mango.
Oh, really?
Mango, yeah.
Interesting.
Love mango ice cream.
Would you like more of a sorbet or like an ice cream?
No, not because for sorbet, my favorite flavor is actually lemon.
Yeah, mine too. Like the classic.
You can't.
I mean,
can't beat it.
It's going back to the it's going back to the whole vanilla thing, but I do think lemon sorbet is so good.
Yeah, what you can.
Speaking of
what
good,
you can beat
Lulu and Jinx in a lane against Xayah and Rel.
Oh, I don't think they're going to be laning against one another. But then you still win because you have Cassante in the lane swap.
Yeah,
and they have Renekton.
Yeah. Wow.
I was feeling the Nongshim draft, and I feel like particularly in first, we've had a lot of these where you see the first three, you're like, feeling pretty good. As some base Nongshim fans, you love to see that.
Yeah.
That is very cool. I am worried about, you know, the rate of success.
And I think it's okay, like, if you're looking at the king in half of the draft. Like, so those fans absolutely happy about how things are going. And that guy's just a chill guy, so it's everything is
He's not bothered by this
Not
draft.
bothered either. I'm very bothered. And you heard, like, I don't often let my emotions get the better of me.
Don't you?
I mean, I try not to. But that was... I apologize for the outburst, but it bothered me. I felt like things were going a relatively okay direction. And then...
They were going, and now they are no longer going.
They are not going. We'll just have to see how it does work out here, because of course Nongshim, they still have a fair bit of tools, and there is a lot of melee outside of the Jinx that you can utilize this Xayah to try and alleviate yourself. But I just don't know whether it was the greatest choice on the line. Maybe they can prove us wrong. All right. Let's get into it. Let's see whether Nongshim can show us something that we weren't expecting. And by we, I mean me and Chronicler, at least. I'm sure there's some of you in the chat and here at LoL Park, perhaps, that just know Jiwoo has a plan. And his first part of the plan is by picking Ghost, which is fun. He gets to run a bit more quickly. We've got some backs coming on through on some wards, which makes me a little bit frightened given the location of Lehens right now.
Oner is not aware, I do not think.
No, he was. Lehens was just backing on a ward.
Yeah, never mind. Okay, so
he's aware of everything.
So they do know.
Oh,
It's a
T1
bait.
setting it. It's
Oh,
plans
God.
within plans, baits within baits, and now they are going to cascade on top of Nongshim. Oh, Lehens with some fancy footwork there. Actually able to get out. Does have to expend a lot. And now Keria flashing over this wall preemptively to make sure that Fisher is going to die to Smash. Ladies and gentlemen, on... Okay, never mind. Maybe you won't. Jiwoo's going to turn up. And there's the flash forward from Smash. Gets the flash finally out of Fisher. Jiwoo might be the one that pays for his sins, or at least is going to have to go back home. So they survive, ladies and gentlemen. No first blood goes down, but it is still an absolute disaster.
Atlas, they technically survive, but you know, if you're surviving because you find some water in the desert, but you're still in the desert and you have no way out.
Yeah.
Did you really survive? Because I'm not feeling very alive here if you're Nongshim.
And Fisher also wasn't actually able to go back as well as Lehens crashing down.
It's just a disaster.
Yeah, this was not the early game that you were hoping for, as Lehens is going to spot Oner out, and he's going to wonder when things are supposed to get good.
He has his passive stacked.
Yeah.
Fisher still doesn't get to go back!
He's still going to die, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be Smash finally finishing it off. There's first blood. Shout out to Reckless there with the Fnatic.
He did it at the end of last game as well.
I liked it.
Meanwhile, we have Ambassa versus the mid Xayah, which I mean, Gio also isn't very happy about that because he doesn't have any early threat, and if Ambassa gets on top of him, he just kind of gets dumped. Fisher now gets back to lane.
Well, gets to lane for the first time.
Yeah, well, gets back to A lane. I don't know, Atlas. This early game is rough.
What? Okay, so what went better? What went better? The second half of the draft or the early game for Nongshim?
Probably second half of the draft because we got to talk about ice cream, I feel like.
And that wasn't talking about the thing? Okay,
yeah, that wasn't talking about that. There's also the fun and engaging conversation if this game keep going the way it is about what's your favorite combo of ice cream, which is a whole nother thing.
Ooh.
Because
I mean, I gave you my top two, so I mean...
Yeah, okay, but you don't.
Oh, yes, you do.
Oh, so you just slam together tiramisu and coffee, and you're like...
So, I think there are different people. There are people that like...
Gideon is getting cancelled on his steal the red buff. Smash is here.
Again, he didn't die.
Oh, Kingen doesn't even have TP. Lulu's gonna murder him.
Is he just gonna get... Like, look at Pix, the Pix damage, even the Cull, the Meek. Keria is not Meek. He's looking for it, finds the auto, and the flash was used as well. Find me some good noodle news, please, someone. as T1 are finding everything they want on this map. 1,000 gold, the lead at 4.5 minutes. The problem on top of that is that this is so much money into Smash. He's the one that got the first blood. He has a huge lead, and he's Jinx. It doesn't get better. Oh, I do want to go.
The noodles are burned, Atlas.
Yeah, I want to go back to talking about the ice cream thing. I had a whole philosophical conversation to have as now King and slicing and dicing, trying to get underneath this turret. He will make it there. And Lahens is going to be able to help him out as well. Oh, man. Oh, dearie me. Let's have a look at this from Keria's perspective as he just goes and he kills King. The dodge of the Color Meek was the big moment.
That actually ends
no
up
health
getting
back.
the kill, right? Because without that, he gets a heal up.
And sometimes you just gotta flash early, you know?
Really have to, because Keria didn't have flash.
Yeah. I mean, he would have lived, but he still would have flashed away from a Lulu as a Renekton.
It would have
felt
like
bad, but...
Well, not only would it have felt like a defeat, it would be a defeat, but it would be better dying without TP.
And using flash anyway.
So the one upside for Nongshim, and I'm really kind of stretching it here, but Doran, you know...
their Nexus is alive?
Yeah. Doran did have to walk back to lane because he didn't have TP because of the weird early situation. And Kingen was just farming away happily, so they do have a little bit of a gold lead there. And maybe this is T1 who now gets overconfident and over-invest.
Lures them into a false sense of security, Chronicle?
Yeah. That's...
No. Cut the video. We don't look at the bottom lane. There is Fisher making his way over there. No teleport for him. As Faker is just going to dive on top of Lahens, and Lahens going to have to crash
I
away
thought he was going to go field. I thought he was going to get him. But he doesn't want to risk it. Does not want to get overconfident, which is understandable.
Oh, dear. Fisher about to get the perfect execution by hitting another level.
So it is just two flavors of coffee.
Yeah, basically. So what I was going to say is there are like two types of people. There are people that like the combination of the flavors, and then there's people that just like this thing and then like another thing, and they put them together, you know? And I'm kind of the second one. I'm pretty basic when it comes to that.
Just want more of the same flavor.
No, it's not the same flavor. It's like I just go my top two things that I can see in front of me.
Okay, but it's the same thing. It's both coffee.
No, it's not. One's tiramisu, one's coffee. They're very different.
Okay, fair enough.
But otherwise, yeah, I just get more coffee. If there was no tiramisu.
I've cast alongside you long enough to know that you always go for more coffee.
Yeah. I feel like you're a little bit more like cultured, you know, like you'd like, oh, well, I think that this complements this other flavor.
Yeah, no,
like
so for example, when I have the mango ice cream, I really like to couple it with like something else, like a yogurt
raspberry.
or something.
Have you done mango raspberry? Oh,
yeah, that's a classic combo. You know, you can go other tropical flavors. You cannot look at
Crocodile
what's transpiring here. Oh,
doesn't get hit by the moment. Look at the adorable snowman, and he's fallen asleep. Hopefully he was asleep when he went down as Keria is able to tank up the turret. Another beautiful dive orchestrated here by T1.
Is level 3.
It really does not. It does not get much worse than this as far as Nongshim's experience in this early game.
Oh, he's level 4 now.
The shutout. The shutout that T1 have put down in this one is kind of absurd.
There's no playing the game from this point on. Unless T1 makes some colossal mistakes, this game, unfortunately, is just... Your only win con is, I guess, the Akali, which isn't as far behind. As we take another look here, look at how much gameplay King gets to. Even dodges that, but then he gets polymorphed, which means he doesn't have any counterplay. Oner gets the Q, takes a turret shot, but who cares?
And I think the Chompers also made sure that like he just actually never had
He just doesn't get to play the game. He doesn't have flash, so it's not like he can... Even if he flashes, it doesn't matter because Smash just waits out.
Oh,
there we go!
Keria might die! What? No! No! That is illegal! Oh, thank God! Oh my goodness! And it's not that we wanted Keria to die there in any way, but that would have been too much. Nongshim would not have been able to cope if that hadn't have been an actual pick.
All right, we get Keria, right? Fisher, he's going to kill Smash. He gets the E. He's going to go in.
Okay.
He doesn't have ult.
backflip. That was a bit weird,
No,
but that's
King is
okay.
gonna- Oh, no.
5-point strike.
Oh, Lulu's there. It's,
Yeah,
oh,
he gets
him.
it. He gets it.
That's two.
Yeah, Keria is only level 5, so it doesn't have the wild growth. Couldn't actually keep him alive. Is now King in. Able to stun up Faker here. Fisher is very dead.
Just
but
dodge.
they got
Dodge the ult.
two
No
for
ult.
one
Oh. It's so playable, Atlas.
Oh, we are so bad.
It's so bad.
It's not actually. Don't get us wrong. This is still doomed and a half. As Doran able to pretty comfortably sit underneath this turret.
Atlas.
Yes.
We just need to get more delusional. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Just need to believe.
I'm not ready. As we watch Keria almost make the mistake. Imagine if he had have escaped here. Like, I think you would have seen the surrender vote come up.
Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer, as Delulu just walks in alone with no prio. I guess they get a little bit of mid lane prio. And then there, this is actually really well done by Fisher. Doesn't have his ult or flash because he had to use it, but both cancelling the recall there. I can't believe he actually has enough damage to take him down here, even with Smash. I think Smash flashed knowing that Keria was there. Keria on the verge.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, maybe the play there was to heal earlier so you're in range for a shield, but that's hindsight.
Yeah, that's
2020.
That was a while ago now.
We will have a possible fight here, and if Nongshim just slam another one of these, now there is ult for Keria, and Smash has cleanse, so this might be a bit of a hard one.
Ooh, Nongshim at least going to go even on grubs. There we go. If they get all of these, then they're actually
That'd be big.
capable of getting towards a feat of strength, perhaps. The Faker's moved up. Kingan's moved down, though.
Faker, I think, looking for the ult.
All right, that's going to be the secure by Gideon. So that is a feat of strength. Or at least almost a feat of strength. As Doran, yeah, Perfect Execution is named weirdly here on the bottom side of the map, but will allow Fisher to escape.
Atlas, we are on the verge of playable. 2K goal deficit at 11 and a half
You are
minutes.
really buying into actually commentating a video game here, aren't you? I don't know.
I can't just keep talking about ice cream. I need to do my job. At least a little bit. Okay, hear me out. If it goes back to a free 4K gold lead, talk about ice cream I want. Because I think we also haven't really touched upon what if you want like a hearty flavor versus a fruity flavor.
Oh, that's true. So we can hold on to that one as King is solo killing Faker. No flashes left as Faker gets himself out, but the Renekton still doing what it says on the tin.
We're not going to be talking about ice cream. Nongshim are going to bring us back, and we're going to get a game number 3.
Okay, well.
Just lean into the delusion.
Yep. Yeah. Chronicler's over there doing something. We're here in reality, and we're feeling like life is still pretty difficult for Nongshim as Doran eats the CC very comfortably. Doesn't have all out, but I don't know whether he needs it as Kingan very nice on the slice. He will be able to make it out to safety.
All right, 1-item spikes are done now for T1. We have both the Iceborne Gauntlet, the Eclipse done. Faker not having sums will definitely make the next fight a little bit harder. Could have an opportunity for Nongshim to keep themselves on a pretty decent pace to bring back this game if they can deny this dragon.
Okay, if they get Hextech Drake, I'm back in the game with you.
You're not yet?
Not yet.
They need a dragon?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Fisher doesn't have his ultimate just yet, but does have his Rocket Belt now at the ready. And T1, for how well they've been playing, it's still a Jinx composition on only a single item, so maybe there's an opportunity here.
And they don't have still a whole lot of peel, like we were talking about. Lehens takes a lot of his health in damage.
Okay, get in. This is your moment. They can let it go. And they would have to invest King and CP as well with Doran's roam over. Ooh. So I don't think that this was necessarily a bad call, as it is the Ocean Rift gracing us. And Kingan is actually going to get a good amount of gold from
pedal,
this.
pedal.
Why would you not just hit it? Just once.
What?
So
the pedal right there. It's like the cinders all over again. If Orcs is watching, he is also fuming right now.
It's free stats.
Yeah.
And not just for you.
Yeah.
It's the whole team.
Oh, man. All right, well, not going to be getting those. Maybe Kingan, like, it's a gentleman's agreement. Like, it's on T1's side of the map, and T1's not taking any from their side of the map as well. But I don't know whether that is real in any way. As, all right, Faker is going to be dashing around. Nice shuriken backflip. Connect there from Fisher. Stops the back. That might be the greatest reward for that whole situation. Flash available for Fisher, not for Faker. As they are fighting once again. There's the Flash Magnus Storm. The ulti comes through to buy some space here for Faker. And the backflip connects. Oh, you felt that Fisher wanted it, but he was definitely going to die.
Oh, actually, I think that with that ult, Faker also dodged the first half of the Akali ultimate, and he got a little bit of a dash there while locking down the hands. So actually really nicely done. I think if he doesn't hit that ult, might not be able to get out with his life. So good save there, because Fisher is definitely going to be the main wing con that Nongshim are currently looking toward, and then hopefully scale into GU 1v9ing at some point. The range disadvantage plus the fact that there's a Lulu on the enemy team is something that we're going to have to, you know, deal with as we go. But at least Faker is being kept on the back foot. Another push possibility there for Nongshim, who do have 5 grubs, so if they can get a little bit of time alone with these turrets, and try and look further. GU might have to flash here, at least use his ult.
Wow. That is...
Oh, he's locked
nerves of steel.
Yeah, I mean...
He didn't even press Ghost.
Like, I'm kind of wondering if he shouldn't have, but there's no objective up. So, realistically, the wave is a bit unfortunate. But
Types in all chat, wanted to back anyway.
He would.
He would. Man.
I think GU is the same as me. He thinks this game's winnable. I don't know why you guys are getting so...
I hope so. I hope that's the way Nongshim are thinking.
No, but I'm talking... Every pro player will always think that. But I'm talking in your heart of hearts.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, Gideon!
Oh, dear. Well, Oner is going to turn up. He's running real quick. As Gideon looking to try and get out of the way. Bowling ball goes wide because of that.
They actually had an angle there.
Yeah, Nongshim are... Like, they're on the map now. And they're behind by 2,000 gold, which is a lot. But that's the same as last game, and we were kind of talking about last game as being, maybe I'm in it with you. I'm in it with you. I'm in it with you.
We're locked in. We're doing it, Atlas.
It's a real video game.
Lahans is on the flank. They are unaware. We've got spotted here. Oh, God, not the same spot.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
It's a different board, but it's the same trauma.
I've seen this before, as Oner is going to slow him down, speed himself up.
They turn.
They're going to look for it, as now Oner is just going to kill Lahens. So Lahens is really dead, but is he actually going to be able to get out with his life? That's the question. No tag on a shuriken there, as Faker is on a ward. Fisher still wanting it, wanting to find an opportunity. Meanwhile, Doran is just, you know, unaware of the funny business that's going on the top side of the map. He's just doing his best to win the game. That is kind of working out here.
Unbothered was Doran, who's
Indeed.
just like, I can just push, I can TP if we need to, but he clearly didn't. They got cleanse and heal, which is something. I think that's actually what allowed them to get away from Gideon, and he was looking for an engage. The fact that Lahans gets spotted, not exactly in the same spot, but in the same area, and it kind of follows the play again, is a bit unfortunate. And it also means Oner is getting further ahead. And we haven't really talked about Lilia this much, and as I've mentioned many times, I think Oner on AP junglers, even if he looks good individually, just doesn't always feel like he's able to play as proactively, which I think T1 really relies on. On this Lilia, I'm seeing none of those issues.
Lilia, I think, is a different breed as well. Like, I think
compared to like Brand or Zyra.
Yeah.
Oh, we're seeing it in play here, right? Because you do actually have the opportunity to set up plays for the rest of your team. And he is also the sole AP source, so itemizing against this guy is actually kind of a nightmare. Because of the flash there, which I think is good. Giving Fisher a shutdown would be a really good way for Nongshim to try and... I don't even want to say get a grasp on the game, because I feel like we're a couple of plays off of that. But at least be allowed to play the game again, because now it's almost 3.5k, as we have a
we're coming back
flank.
And if at first you don't succeed in finding a flank angle, just go for it again. Did he ult already?
He did ult. Yes, there's a turret.
Okay, well.
If a Renekton ults in where no one can see,
did he ult at all? Well, as it turns out, he did. It filled up his rage bar, though, as we can see. They get vision on Keria here, as now Lahens, he's driving. Let's see what can happen here as the Glacial Prison goes entirely wide. Oner is in trouble. Nice wild growth, but it's not going to be enough there as they manage to take down the turret, but not before Doran makes his way in. Faker's there as well. You got the all-out. Is the public execution going to be employed? The answer is yes, but it does not land. And Nongshim, it's a 1-for-1. They take a turret. You call it a trade-up, I guess.
You get the shutdown. That's worth. Unironically, that's not that bad a trade. The problem is that they're probably going to lose their own mid lane.
And they might lose Fisher as well, who's inside the Shroud, but that will wear off eventually. Doran's health bar isn't infinite, as Smash did not want to tank that turret shot as well. and they run out of minion wave. Nongshim able to breathe a sigh of relief.
So not going to get the turret. Most likely they are going to give up the dragon for this, but it's only a second dragon. As I want to take another look. So even with Kingen not able to find him, the ult going wide. Oh, Fisher, that flash was also... I guess it worked. So he like flashed to get to the wall and then eat over.
Huh.
I feel like there was a more elegant way to do that without having to invest
I think
in
flashing over the wall and then using the E for damage could have been good.
Yes, would have been preferable. They got the damage nonetheless. But he could have just held onto his flash, or maybe they could have gotten another member. As Lahens is again behind enemy lines. At this point, I think T1 not going to be remotely surprised.
He knows. He knows that he's been walking over wards and like getting into awkward situations all game, and so he trolls us when he does it again on a control ward.
Oh, so he's trying to clog up the
so
comms.
Lahens. Yeah.
It is very Lahens. Yeah.
Oh.
Not ideal for winning the game. Although, Atlas, it's 20 minutes in. It's only a 2.5k deficit. That's the sweet spot. Game number 1 was almost playable.
I mean, it's turned into a video game. It really has. I think you were right. You were absolutely right. Otacon up and available.
It was us and the viewers at home.
It might have been helped by the ice cream conversation. I actually think you did good work there. Because people probably wanted to hear more about ice cream, but now the game's got in the way. As Faker is also just going to dive on top of Jiu, who does have to use his Feather Storm. He dodges the damage of those feathers, and Faker's out of there. He's like a wraith. As now, Kingen looking for Smash, or is Smash looking for him? Super Mega Death Rocket connects onto Fisher. He doesn't get the Shuriken, and so Kingen will be going down. And Gideon now slowed down by this bowling ball that does way too much damage over time.
That's Otacon.
Yeah, no, I think that is an unanswerable.
No, there is an answer actually. Pivot back to ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, wow. Otacon's. It's at this point it feels kind of overdone, but that's Otacon gone. There isn't
trade
really
for a dragon.
Yeah, second Ocean Drake. There isn't really anything that can be done as Faker does take a little bit too much damage. It was him that set up the play though. Gets the ult onto Gio and then crucially also dodges the pullback of the feathers with the invest on ability. Using that passive very nicely. And
Faker actually having a really good Ambessa game.
I think the fights have been played well. I think in lane there were a couple of more awkward situations, but this is really good, right? Finds Gio, forces out the immediate, and that's the dash I was talking about, because otherwise he dies. There was a 3-stack.
His first dash dodged the Glacial Prison, and the second one dodged the feathers.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So really well done by the fight there. Kingen, unfortunately, this time gets his ult off amongst people, but there's too many, so he still doesn't get the value that he's been dreaming of. And now Otacon is here. T1 have carte blanche to do whatever they want for the next minute and 50 seconds. And as we said, all that Nongshim got was just an Ocean Drake.
Yeah. They at least get it, so it's
Gio has 2 items. If he gets a third...
Yep. We're ganking Faker in a side lane when Faker cannot die. And the rest of his team are coming over. Fisher, if you reveal yourself, you are condemning yourself to death, but he didn't.
Nice.
Really
I can't
nice
believe
stuff.
no one is checking that brush. Are they going to go, like, Gideon is still there as well. Are they going to go for the deep flame?
Oh, God.
Oh, they are!
Well, let's see what they can do here, as Jiu is at least able to avoid the public execution. And Nongshim, they decide better of it. And I do not blame them, as Lahens, he could just be all out at here. It's a decent Magnet Storm to buy some time from Faker. Gideon, he books it and dives underneath as T1 are now trying to back themselves away. I think it might still be a rough time for Nongshim, but Gideon makes it out. And there's another ticket home here for Doran as well.
Oh, if Fisher had hit that E, maybe that would have been an opportunity.
Double teleports. Faker goes into the mid lane, and Doran is going to come back up once again. The sleepies come down as Oner is likely to die. Never mind. Actually, the turret just goes down, and Oner is still alive. 30 seconds until his Otacon buff goes down again, as Fisher at least gets himself 100 gold. But they'll lose an inhibitor for it. That's 2, so maybe he's almost got a kill's worth of money here. But if he dies, then that's actually a huge deal. Not going to, but the inhib will still fall. And T1 retain that stranglehold on this game.
Could have been worse, Atlas.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Bot lane inhib went down. Maybe we do. Yeah, we do a TP flank. Why not?
Oh, 4 seconds.
Because we can kill Doran. Smash can't die.
No, Smash can die now. because the buff just wore off.
Timed out!
Yep, Fisher is going to look for the angle here. Melee range with a manaless Jinx seems somewhat doable as he flashes in to execute Smash. Permafrost being used for what feels like the first time this game as well. Both keeping Doran alive for way too long. And Oner, he has so much AoE damage, it is disgusting. And now Faker is corralling them. The Hens is at death's door as Jiwoo is just trying his best to be alive in this situation. Another pack of feathers are just going to do nothing as it's a triple for Oner as he just tidies up Nongshim. Somehow it's Lehens that's the last man standing. But I don't know whether that really matters at all. T1 moved to a 6,000, 7,000 gold lead, and the base is in tatters.
I was really excited to be excited, but unfortunately ended up not quite panning out. Jiwoo gets his flash or his ult force very early on here, and then T1 feels safe to engage on Doran or in a Lance because they have the buff. But it's Gideon with the long con actually waiting for like what, a full minute there that ends up getting behind enemy lines, which forces a response. And that alone doesn't really kill anyone, but Doran doesn't have any backup as a result because they have to deal with the Sejuani that's in their midst. And then here, the fact that Smash actually stays alive for as long as he does, between the shield from Cassante and then this, I want you to look at this right here. The fact that Doran gets that dash up and then stays alive for as long as he does,
yeah,
that's what ends up winning the fight, because that's what set up a multi-man. Even Faker missing his ult doesn't end up mattering because they're able to get on top, and this is the dream scenario for Lilia, right? So many rotations you can get off. You're not under any threat at all, and yeah, they end up getting a kill there. Keria ends up going down, but it just doesn't really matter. Is Doran, is he in trouble, or is it?
I don't know who's in trouble. I think Nongshim are in trouble, as now Fisher is looking for an angle. He's spotted on a ward. Magnustorm's there. As Zoom Mega Death Rocket also helping out with the AoE. Oner turns up though, and Fisher is out of there. Hasn't actually offered any damage to this fight, as now King desperately trying to stay alive and keep Faker away. But Gideon's down, and Smash gets excited, understandably so. With a jungler looking as good as Oner is right now, it must be pretty nice being on T1. 8-1-0 on this Lilia. 3 items complete. Oh my goodness, he's just a monster.
Both games Atlas is in was also kind of crazy.
Oh yeah.
And showing his performance on what it really is feeling like one of the stronger junglers at the moment, particularly with Fearless continuously. Oh!
He got an ice cream!
I love that!
Wait, is that a coffee ice cream? Tiramisu ice cream?
Stracciatella, probably?
Oh, it looks pretty good. Can I have one? What? Oh, that is... You know what? I was tempted to storm off. But I'm not going to. I'm kind of interested in how T1 decide to end the game.
There's not a lot of games to be played. You can. It's 10k gold. It's
yeah,
fine.
I mean,
go.
No, you know,
go get that ice cream.
There's like a last fight.
If it was coffee, I know.
It was. That was the problem.
That's so mean.
I know.
As the deficit here, unfortunately, way too big. The interesting thing that we haven't really gotten to look at yet is seeing how the Jinx works in this composition. You have a front line that has so much damage available with the M-Pesa and the Lilia set up from the Cassante, so Jinx doesn't really get threatened, and outside of an Akali flank, which I think Lulu answers pretty handily.
Oh,
why are you taunting Atlas?
Stop this! Stop putting him there!
It's so mean!
It looks delicious!
It is!
Oh, and I'm also trying to do keto at the moment. I can never eat that. I just can't eat that. I want the mini-map back! Give me the mini-map! Thank you!
We don't need the mini-map back.
I need the mini-map! That's okay. First inhibitor, I think there was an inhibitor that went down. There was a beautiful Captain Jack there from Smash as he avoids the Glacial Prison. Some redemption to keep them all alive again, but it's Nongshim that need redemption in this game, and they are not going to get it. Fisher looking for a backline as Smash takes a bit of damage and then proceeds not to care at all about the situation. Wild Growth is going to be used, and he will actually be taken down. But we all know the real carry was in fact Oner. And Kingen now just using the fountain to keep his health bar a little bit higher, as they are losing health bars on T1's side. Maybe dealing with this Nexus turret could be a good idea, as the Flash Polymorph comes in to make sure that Jiwoo can't get any more work done, but he's still kind of doing it. And now Oner throwing these bowling balls around. King keeping himself up
Kill the
here
Nexus.
as Doran will
Kill
be able
the
to take
Nexus,
that one.
please.
And Keria just wants it. Wants to try and find the kill, but he doesn't get it in the end. And